The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
What up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Brianna Aldridge. Ladies, what's poppin'? How y'all doing?
Hey.
What's up? It's been a minute.
Hey.
Is Jess the only one in here with some energy?
I guess so,
Wake up! Today
Dang.
Wake up.
Huh?
Today,
I'm awake. Dang, she wasn't even listening to you.
That's crazy.
I think she needed it live.
Yeah.
No. She needs it live. No.
Wake up!
Oh.
All right, whoa.
Woo!
Jesus. Time.
Yeah.
Y'all know what day it is?
Oh,
Here we go again. We just did this
just
before.
tell the world what day it
Y'all
is.
know what it is?
2
Tell
days.
us.
2 days until your
Before.
birthday.
2 days before my birthday.
There you go.
Ding.
So y'all need to set an alarm on your phone to tell Nicole happy birthday in 2 days. Like, blow up her Twitter, blow up her Instagram.
Absolutely.
Love.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate
Just
it.
get crazy. Get crazy in the comments wishing her a happy birthday.
Yeah,
Especially you,
man.
Larry.
That was diabolical.
Who was that?
Y'all know it's a crazy time, though, right?
Is it?
It really is.
Oh, my Shayla.
It is. Zack Martin is officially retiring as a Dallas Cowboy. He announced it. It was reported a couple of days ago. Zack Martin, you just talk about the season that he has had here. 11 seasons on the Pro Football Hall of Fame 2010 All-Decade Team, 7-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, only 7 career holding penalties. That's insane. But just talking about and reflecting on the career that, Zack Martin has had here, just kind of thoughts, first reactions when you guys heard the news.
I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I was happy for him. I mean, it was bittersweet, obviously, seeing someone that is basically like I don't know what was the word I want to use, but he's been a staple. He's been very important to what the Cowboys have wanted to do, but also, too, just the example he sets, the leader that he is as a person, how he treats his family, all those things. It's a big loss. We're talking about a surefire Hall of Famer. Anytime you lose one of those people, you're going to feel the impact of that. So, for me, I was just happy for him. I'm always happy when guys, feel fulfilled in their career, but they feel comfortable enough to transition out of football, because it's not an easy decision for any of them, I'm sure. So just happy for him. Again, a little bittersweet, because that means you got more problems this way. But him as a person, very happy for him, very happy for his family. I'm sure they're going to be excited to have him around more.
Yeah. Growing up watching the Cowboys, it's always sad when you see these legendary players finally decide that it's time, but I wasn't too surprised by it. In fact, I think we were all kind of just waiting for it to become official. To your point, happy for him and hoping that this next chapter of his life is just as fulfilling as the last one has been. And so, it's very bittersweet. My questions now is okay, how does this impact the current team? And not even so much like the order of the offensive line and who's going to be where and who shifts to what position, but this is a guy that he doesn't just teach your offensive line things. You hear the running backs talk about how much he teaches them. Your quarterback, every position essentially on the offensive side of the ball, tight ends, wide receivers, are going to miss out on a little something because Zack Martin's no longer in that locker room. Leadership-wise, just mindset and knowledge that is just so irreplaceable when you have a guy like Zack Martin. So interested to see kind of how the dynamic shifts, and more so who becomes that offensive line leader with who you have now.
And I have the same sentiments that you guys kind of put out there. I mean, Tyler Guyton, Cooper Beebe, you're going to Zack Martin to ask him what it's looking like for them, because his input matters that much, because he is the leader of this team. Also happy that he did have his 2023 season where he held out, got paid, and got what he deserved on his way out. I hate that his 11th season ended with injury. I think if he was able to, he would. I think his body
Yeah.
I don't think this is
That's what it
this is
was.
the ending.
Yeah, that
we
ankle was
wanted.
bothering him even last year.
And there was a moment I remember writing an article where both his ankles
Yeah.
were hurt, and I was like, and it was listed as questionable. I said, how he gonna play and both his ankles is out? Like, what's going on? So his body gave up on him, and you hate the way that scene that ended. But honestly, I mean, Nicole listed up all his stats, and there's really arguably been no other offensive lineman to be able to do what he's did when we're talking about accolades. So happy for him, but bittersweet. And now, like, it's time.
Yeah.
All right, what does this rest of this offensive line look like now that that piece is gone?
Yeah, you can't really put into words what Zack Martin's meant to this organization, honestly. But best of luck to him and his family as he kind of transitions to life after football. But it's a whole lot of transition in here, specifically for this offensive
good one.
line.
It's really good.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry. For this offensive line, there's just still a lot of questions in terms of whether the Cowboys draft a guard, put Cooper Beebe, move him out to guard like he played in college. Now that Connor Riley is now the offensive line coach, keep Brock Hoffman starting at right guard because you saw him play so well in place of Zack Martin this past season. So I want to start there. Faith in Brock Hoffman, or do you have more faith in Cooper Beebe playing at guard possibly this season? Anybody can.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, this is going to be a training camp
Yeah,
thing that I'm really excited to watch now, because you don't lose either way. And when you're put in a position, especially with your offensive line, that it's a win-win either way, to have Cooper Beebe and Brock Hoffman on the same line together, there's no wrong answer. So for me, I think it's just kind of up to the coaching personnel and staff to decide if Cooper Beebe is going to stay planted at that center position, and if, this past year was enough for him to stay in that spot, or, hey, let's try it this way. You already know what Brock Hoffman can do at center. So for me, I'm excited. Like, the fact that the choice was between Cooper Beebe and Brock Hoffman, it was sad that only one could be on the line. But now that you can have both and we get to hear more about Brock Hoffman's little chirpy self, it's really exciting. And he brings that juice to the offensive line that you definitely need, a very old school, gritty football mindset. So excited for both of them. And what I really like about this offensive line is the youth around it and how that impacts, kind of your draft process, not just this year, but when you even start getting into like quarterback development and that entire thing. It's nice to have a young group that's going to grow together, learn together, and seems pretty stable as far as not missing or losing any pieces.
I think it's like a scary but exciting thing because you're looking at the coaching staff around who is, and to think of Cooper Beebe's former coach now coming back to him. That's so much. We keep using the word familiarity for the offensive side of the ball. Personally, I would love to see how Cooper Beebe thrives back to where he started, where he was most comfortable in. And as to Jess's point, if you need him to go and switch over, he can also do that, as he proved he could. Still bumps and bruises, right, of his rookie season. But I'm more excited to see what this coaching staff's lineup looks like, knowing again the familiarity there with what Cooper Beebe was able to do at the college level. And then I would not be surprised if the Cowboys, at first I was like, they're not gonna. I think you mentioned it too. It was like they're not gonna address the offensive line with their early draft pick. And now I'm like, Cowboys have done it 6 out of the 11 this last
7.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I said I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
At this point.
I would.
Sorry, I wouldn't be surprised.
There's so and that's why I'm on the fence about. So, because when I look at the Dallas offensive line, and the guys that they have right now, the only position that I think you don't have any depth at is right tackle.
Correct.
But other than that, obviously we
Unless
got
you
to
have
see.
Tyler Guyton play a little right tackle. But
Which we'll see
yeah.
if that's something I think we're going to get, like Jess said, some of this stuff will be answered in training camp.
Yeah.
Like if there hasn't been a surefire improvement from that left tackle position, then we could see them try to maybe move some things around. But I think you guys are kind of on the money with the fact that you're kind of set with your interior right now. And I think that's a luxury going into the draft, to not have to go reach up or go up higher for offensive linemen. This center class is okay. I think they can maybe find someone in the later rounds and convert them to a center if necessary. My thing about, and this is it's about to sound really selfish and bad, but my thing about Brock Hoffman and Cooper Beebe, I agree with you. I think Cooper Beebe, he's going to become a really good center. I think he's obviously developing. We saw improvement from him. But him at guard in that draft tape was something to be admired. So I do agree with the idea of him going back to guard, but with Brock Hoffman being at center, I think Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, Austin Richards, those gentlemen, if those are your backup players, and I'm not saying, like, I think Hoffman has earned, he's an adequate starter in the NFL. He is.
Yeah.
But when you look across the season and you see 17 games and you see the physical turmoil these guys go through, there's so much value in having depth in that way. So for me, I would be okay with Dallas maybe going in the later rounds and picking up a center or another guard or whatever the case may be, even though they need to do tackle. But even if there's a lot of tackles in this draft that are, to me, guards in disguise as tackles. So I'm like, I want Brock Hoffman. He's earned the opportunity to compete, but I'm also like, well, what happens if, someone goes down? Knowing that guy can come in, knowing that a TJ Bass can come in, knowing that an Awesome Richards can come in is a luxury, and I kind of want to cater to that. Not saying that, and again, it's weird. It's a weird place to be in because I feel like that's just me kind of being selfish and wanting to be like security, but also too, it's like,
It's facts.
but I do think the Cowboys, to you ladies' point, they have put themselves in a position. The players have put the team in a position to go into the draft and not feel like they got to press and pick a first rounder or a second rounder. You don't. You can find value in these later rounds and maybe convert one of those guys to a swing or whatever the case may be. So I'm on the fence about it, sister.
Is O-line maybe a possible option to be, per Stephen Jones, selectively aggressive
Ooh, I
and
can
get
that-
free agency?
And that might
That would be
even,
ideal.
honestly,
That
that would be even better.
ideal.
It would be even better to go that route.
Because it
They're
takes
proven.
time to train and convert
Yeah.
any offensive line, even if it is, the same position in college, it takes time to develop. And so, for me, get some veteran guys in here. Like Chuma Edoga has been that guy for the last couple of years, right? Your veteran presence, that he's a plug and play kind of guy because he has experience. He's done it. He knows what to do. Look, ideally, that's how you figure out that situation, Aisha, of having depth, especially in the tackle position, because I just think there's so many other draft needs.
Yeah, they already marking
Especially
tackle.
Without a fourth, that would be ideal to really attack other things that are
Skill positions.
much needed.
there's
Much,
other needs, yes.
much needed.
Look around the NFL, the top offensive linemen, free agents. Trey Smith, guard, Chiefs, number one. You have Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens, Alaric Jackson from the Rams, Drew Dahlman from the Falcons, Mekhi Becton, Eagles, Dan Moore, Junior Steele, Cam Robinson, Vikings, Will Fries, Colts.
What position Mekhi Becton play?
Guard.
Tackle? He is a guard.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to get him for $2 because I think he got hurt.
That $2.
$2 is crazy.
That's
He
not
got,
money.
I
That's
believe
insane.
he got injured in the Super Bowl. I wonder how serious the injury is or whatever case may be.
Ravens got a tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronnie Stanley.
And that's the thing about it, too, is like as we talk about offensive line, they got to be decisive on it. Like the scouts are going to be having to work with the area scouts. They're going to have to talk about it like, hey, do we need to go? Because those guys are going to go quick. Those top offensive linemen, real quick, fast, and hurry. We'll see them gone in the first couple days.
Yeah.
So if Dallas does want to attack free agency and get an offensive lineman, they're going to be aggressive. It's also going to tell us a little bit about how they feel about a Hoffman or a Tyler Guyton or whatever the case may be, or an Austin Richards.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Connor Riley, who on this offensive line do you feel like he can get the most out of?
The most out of?
Who we hope
Yeah.
the most out of
Yes. Outside from Cooper. Sorry,
outside of Cooper.
Aside of Cooper Beebe.
For me, it's Tyler Guyton.
Yeah.
I just feel like
I was going to say, I think
the
we're all
hype,
three on that.
the hype.
Yeah.
I even heard his. So, to me, his personality in interviews is a little. I don't want to. It's a little. I don't know.
Really?
He chill.
He was fine with me.
Tyler Guyton?
He's a. I'm not talking about like human being. I'm talking
Oh,
about
like-
Like in
It's just kind of like
mellow, kind of like
mellow one. It's like. I'm saying that because I heard when he first got here,
Yeah.
he was the opposite, is what I'm trying to say. He was very more upbeat And then I don't know if it's kind of like also being a first round pick, you got to kind of like be able to realize that everything you say can turn into a type of story. But I just like who my coworkers described when I got hired and who I saw in the scrum. So maybe not like Nicole's point, like a one-on-one, but it was kind of different. And I feel like he was just you could tell he was week by week.
It was a criticism for sure.
Yeah.
that he was facing.
Yeah. And it was just kind of like I saw him, you know, like I'm traveling with the team and I'm seeing him more and more. And it's just kind of like, I just felt I could see the weight on him, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping maybe his second season, he just can get out of his own head, know the mistakes are going to come, you know, the critics are going to come, but you're here for a reason. The Cowboys saw something in you for a reason. So that's what from him.
I would say Terrence Steele for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrence Steele is a gentleman that obviously went through the ACL. He's the only offensive lineman that you have on this roster that has played every snap in the last 2 seasons. I'll say it again. Very reliable.
Yep.
Very reliable. I look at
Post injury, by the way.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Post injury, and
Yeah.
you saw I did see an improvement in his game as the season went on. Obviously, we saw some cohesiveness get better across the offensive line in general. But in regard to what is the coach's name?
Who? Are you talking about Connor Riley?
Connor Riley.
Sorry.
In regard to how he
Brian Schottenheimer.
sugar. In regard to how they like to run the ball and a lot of the things that the previous offensive lines have done under these 2 coaches. If I'm not, let me go back. Who's the offensive coordinator?
Clayton Adams.
Clayton Adams. I'm sorry,
Fine,
y'all.
it's a lot of
little
names.
absent.
A lot of
new
People.
names.
It's
But
really fine.
Clayton Adams, in the way that he likes to run the ball, it's obviously creative, but it intends to get his offensive linemen on the move. When you talk about a Terrence Steele, that's where he thrives. His athleticism is what really shines through, and then also too the ability to get to the second level. And I also have always said about Terrence Steele is that I think he's a gentleman that has to feel the game, and the running game. If there's going to be an uptick in the running game, he's going to be able to wear guys down.
Yeah.
I think we'll see an improvement in his pass pro with that, but. I just think the things that Clayton Adams likes to do with some of the pull-in and things like that will allow Terrence Steele to tap into some of the things that he does really well, that maybe screen game, that he has not gotten to do consistently here as a Cowboy to start. So Terrence Steele, hopefully he has an uptick in play.
Dang, I'm going to be different because y'all took the top 2. I'm going to go a little different route. I'm going to say Tyler Smith, and not because I think Tyler Smith needs the best brought out in him. I think we've seen that just uptick significantly from Tyler Smith, and he's done everything he's needed to do. I personally see him becoming that offensive line leader this season. But what I want to see is that continue, and I want to see that really mold out for him with the help of this new coaching staff. I want to see that confidence. I want to see that that leadership aspect of his game really grow, especially without a Zack Martin. You're going to need that. And I feel like Tyler Smith has slowly but surely kind of been stepping into that role in Zack's shadows. So for me, I need a coaching staff that's really supportive of that, supportive of him in this, journey of him becoming that guy for the Cowboys offensive line, because, hey, very big shoes to fill, impossible to fill Zack Martin's shoes, but you can start paving the way to have your own shoes filled eventually. And so I think Tyler Smith, if he continues on this growth pattern, is going to be in that situation. So I need a coaching staff that's supportive of that and helps him continue to grow and learn in that way.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one because we saw last year, I think he is, to your point, starting to step into, being like, hey, I'm kind of like a foundational piece of this offensive line. And I think that's something you'll see. So that was a fantastic pick.
This offensive line is young.
That's what
They're
I'm saying.
nuggets.
But that was my point earlier.
Ain't
It's
Terrence
like
still the youngest? Oldest? Sorry, oldest.
they're still
2020.
They're little too.
Yeah.
They're little.
Yeah.
They're all younger than us.
I mean,
That's
Hoffman
crazy.
had been in the league, though. Hoffman might be the oldest.
I think he might be.
So it might be Hoffman.
It might be
But
Hoffman.
regardless,
But they are very
it's
young,
so-
to your point.
Such a luxury to have
crazy.
a young offensive line that gets to grow together. That's the point, is if you can continue to retain talent and have them grow together, you could be looking at such a strong offensive line in the next few years. If anything that's exciting for Cowboys fans going forward, it should be the strength that this line can have if all continues to go well.
I
agree.
And
do it
it just
right.
pumps me up.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm at. I'm like,
Get me pumped.
whatever it's gonna be, make it what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like if this stop doing this,
Get
like
a run game going.
facts. Like if it's gonna be like,
And stay healthy.
how many times do we talk about continuity and all these things
Right.
all
It's a
year?
luxury.
The year before last year,
Yeah.
and so whatever their 5 is, baby, I want to see it in camp.
Facts.
I'm trying to
Day
see them
one.
be
Start it
together.
now.
Like
First week.
Yeah,
it feels
start
like
it.
every
That was
year.
the confusion. I remember it was like
it's like every
one day
year.
meetings with the ones, the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So we're asking. They're like, "Oh, we want to see." Well, the other teams are doing.
Yeah.
We already see. So like at that point, and that to what Aisha just said, when you're getting into the season, even McCarthy's thing is like September is the time to win games
As many as you
because-
can.
Well,
Stack 'em
see,
up,
well,
and
it's
they-
a little easier.
and it that makes perfect sense. Like, and you can't do that if there's no continuity there, and you're still trying to figure things out scheme wise.
You know what else?
My head hurt.
I was gonna just you haven't had the luxury of continuity because of injuries across the line, and
fair.
and whether that goes back to Tyron Smith and constantly having to change that out, Zack Martin. I mean, and no knock to these older players, goats, we know that, but that's just the reality of as you get older as an offensive lineman, you don't have that stability to play every single game like you used to. So that's also another perk of having such a young line is they're not so injury prone and you can play more games together.
Injury bug also hit the defensive line as well. But you know who it didn't hit?
Who?
Thank you.
I
Dang.
You just always want us to complete the sentence.
Because I feel like that just makes it more fun. Dang.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
Also, Diggy Zua, we're going to take our first break and talk about the
Oh, I was like, who it
conversations
didn't
that are being
get?
had.
Yeah, I was like, who are you talking about?
Up next. We'll be right back.
Like, I don't know.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes, and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys Nation, Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is now exclusively in the Dallas Cowboys app. Join the official fan club today to receive access to all the new Cowboys drops, feature, team news, pre-sale access, and fan and kid of the game. How exciting. Download the app to join right now. And you know what? Guess where you can watch Girls Talk, Boys Talk? On the Dallas Cowboys app. True story.
Fill in the blank. We fill in the blank
Fill in
here.
the blank.
Sorry, I like to plug our show.
I think it just makes it so much fun when you like and finish the sentences.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Y'all don't think so?
Yeah.
I hate you.
I'm really convinced.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Guess what?
What?
Stephen Jones.
That felt like another one.
Now
I
I'm
was
just
like,
scared.
I don't know. how to
Now
say
I'm
it.
just
She got a
scared.
spirit.
She has the fear in me, so I'm like trained to
Dr.
not
Seuss
respond.
post.
Can't help it.
It's the anxiety for me.
Stephen Jones has said that the conversations or contract talks have already started with Cowboys defensive tackle Osa Odigizua.
Yep.
Shout out
Yep.
to him.
Yep.
Love to see it. Just what does them obviously beginning the talks with Osa tell you about their intentions this season, this off season?
No, Eberflus already said it.
He
Hey,
did.
baby,
He said he liked it.
Eberflus said, hey, this man is important.
Yeah.
He is kind. He is smart.
Oh my goodness.
Giving his pitch. Crying.
Maybe he heard your letter last week.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Well, my letter was Jordan Lewis.
Oh wait, who wrote
I think
Osa?
it was-
You wrote
it might have been
You
yours.
wrote Osa?
Eberflus, see you ain't got no DTs?
No, I'm talking about Stephen Jones.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe they heard our letters.
Probably.
But I just think it's also,
Maybe.
too, that there's a
You're welcome,
demand.
guys.
We talked about it. There's a demand, like, there are people who are interested in Osa. I was at Senior Bowl
Bengals.
being nosy. I was like, oh, y'all like Osa too?
Yeah.
Like, so them trying to get ahead of it at this point is still kind of behind, but we'll take what we can get. I'm actually happy to see that they're trying to get it settled out. And I know Osa wants to be here, so
Yeah.
let's just get it over with so
Yeah.
then you can start, again, to your point earlier, Bree, to your point earlier, Jess, is like, just like the offensive line, if I know what my defensive line look like, life is going to be easier moving forward, especially going into the draft. So
Yes.
I'm happy that they're prioritizing it right now. I hope something good comes from it. Do you ladies see him being franchise tagged possibly?
I don't with.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Does it make sense to you?
Doesn't make sense
I
to
don't
me
know
for
about
that.
that one either. Yeah.
I don't
I
think
would
they
have to
used-
look at the
They didn't
price.
use the tag last
I would
year.
have to look at the price of the tag.
They didn't use their franchise tag last year, so I wonder if they...
25.
Who else could be franchise tag though? Who do you think?
Micah. Depending on the price.
Baby,
Depending on the
please.
price. No, I'm just saying.
I know what
if you
you're
ask
right.
realistically, that could, yeah.
Talk about a fire.
Now we're not manifesting that. We're manifesting this deal gets done.
Yeah.
Both deals get done, and that's it.
Yeah.
Truly.
I mean, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but
Crying.
this organization doesn't have a great reputation, right, of getting deals done in a timely manner when it needs to get in. That's why they're in the position that they're in right now. This is why Micah's contract is raining down in this moment, right? Because if this was done, Osa probably wouldn't be that serious because you already got Micah down. So they put themselves in a situation where the free agency in this position is just not that glamorous. Osa is one of the top guys when you're looking at the free agency. We've talked about this last week. There's no guarantees when you put your hand into that draft.
Yep.
There's nothing guarantees as soon as you get that person on the field that they're just going to magically make an impact. So they need someone who's going to make an impact automatically. Looking around the league, and this is what I wanted to ask you guys today. So we got the highest DT in the league, obviously, is Chris Jones. It's $31 million a year coming from the Chiefs, right? You go top 10, Dexter Lawrence is $21 million a year. That's top 10. So I ask you guys, is Osa top 10 DT in this league?
Hell yeah, he's set to make possibly $21 million or more if he gets a new deal. So, absolutely.
I think a lot of people argue no.
Really?
They can argue
That's
no,
what I was
but they're
going
not
to say.
correct.
I think a lot of people argue no. Obviously, this past year, I think, was probably his best year as a Cowboy.
Right.
I feel like he is going to be more productive, and I have seen a difference in him on tape and production-wise when he does have a true nose next to him because he is a 3-tech. This is a pass-rushing 3-tech as well, which is his strength. So it's one of those things, too, where it's like you have to look at his – I look at Osa in like a different perspective. I look at him year to year. What did he develop on? How did he get better here? I think what we saw from him last year is what we should expect from him moving forward is he's going to rush the passer. He's going to be disruptive. You can use him in twist stunts. You can use him across the offensive line, and we'll see him be successful. Now, I think, but like I said, I think a lot of people would argue that he's not top 10 just based off of the fact that they haven't seen it consistently like year after year after year. But at the same token, we just talked about it, defensive tackle takes time to develop.
Yeah.
So now he's kind of going into that place to where, again, what we see is what we're probably going to get. If you're telling me you're going to get the last 9 weeks of the season, Osa, how do we nurture that?
Yep.
How do we figure out how to have that consistently? Because the last 8 to 9 weeks, he was one of the best D tackles in the league. He was top 10 in rush stops. He was top 3 in pressures. So it's like
your nose
most of
tackle
those
has to
games
do
without
their
my
job.
consistency that people.
Consistency, a team that needs to win right now. But again, when you look at the market right now, Osa is the top dog. Other teams are going to come. If not calling, they're calling now. Now, Stephen Jones says we're having conversations. Okay, well,
what y'all talking
we
about?
know what the market is. So are y'all going in there and be like, hey, appreciate what you've done. Here's 15 mil. What am I going to do with this?
Well, they got that spirit. They
I
got
don't
that
know.
spirit. They got that spirit.
They're
on
not
them.
known
Here's
for
what I will
putting
say.
the money on the table, and that's where I think is the issue. Like, everyone's getting excited that conversations are happening, and yeah, I will give them a little credit. Thank you for having this conversation before the combine. Okay, that is good. Yes,
I'm
but
glad y'all talked or
obviously,
whatever.
I'm not buying in because I've seen how, and not just this team. I've covered 2 other NFL's teams. GM say one thing, and then you look, that person's gone, and we back with 2 for the price of 1, and that's a little bit scary to me.
I don't know. I think Osa's say also matters in this because I know he would like to stay in Dallas ideally. Like, I have multiple sources that can confirm that I've talked to that continue to say that. If it's up to him, I think he chooses to stay. Now, do I think he should take a pay cut if somebody else is offering something better? No, I don't think that for any player in any situation. But I do think Osa wants to stay here, wants to continue to play here. And if people want to argue he's not a top 10, better for the Cowboys. Look, you don't have to argue with anyone, right? But is he a top 10? To your point, Bree, I think in terms of money, he's probably estimated to get paid like one. But I don't really care. I just need Osa re-signed on this roster because he can be a top 10 or not. The Cowboys need him. Otherwise, you're in a more desperate situation without him than you are with him on this offensive line, especially not knowing what's going to happen with Tank, especially not knowing the health of Tank if he returns. Micah, not knowing that situation with that contract, there's a lot of question marks. And with those question marks could be very negative outcomes. I don't want to say it, but you could have a very empty defensive line if none of those things work out. So for me, if you're starting conversations about one of those dominoes falling, that's what I need to hear. Because at this point, you could be 3 for 3, 1 for 3, 2 for 3, or none at all. Like, that's the reality of this business and this situation that the Cowboys are in this year. So if you start with 1, maybe the other dominoes will fall in a line. But for me, get him paid. Right. See what he wants. Go from there. And I do think just in terms of business, like, look, when we get job offers, okay, do we sit there and we take the first offer? No. You do a little back and forth. You know your worth. You sit there and you kind of go back and forth. But I think if it's up to Osa, he does want to stay in Dallas.
What do y'all think DeMarcus Lawrence is going to do?
Leave. Well, not.
I don't
think he's
know.
coming back.
I don't know.
I'll just say that.
I'm gonna be really short. That's all I got. I don't see it.
I don't
You
see
don't.
it coming
You don't
back.
see them re-signing him, or you don't see him playing football.
I don't see them re-signing him. I will say in regard to the fact that he's had multiple foot injuries and those things, like, I'm sure D-Law probably feels like he still can play. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a Commander's jersey.
Stop.
However,
No, literally.
I would really like to see it.
However, I do think, I don't see it here. Back to the Osa conversation, though. When you look into this draft, and that's the part that's stressing me out because I know how these folks here work.
Yeah.
And this defensive tackle class is one of the best we have seen in years.
Okay.
So you
years?
don't want to miss.
You know, they
don't
like
want to
to-
miss the mark if
Nah,
they don't.
our team
decide take it,
coupons. They be at the register holding up the line.
Everybody loves some good coupons.
So,
Listen now.
baby, they gonna whip out.
I already know what you're talking about
just
too.
hope-
Like,
They gonna whip out that coupon.
I don't want to see no coupons.
I don't want to see it either.
Extreme
But I will
couponing.
say that the fact that this draft class is so rich at that position, I want to add to what you got. I think it's smart to add to
Not
an
necessarily
Osa,
replace.
a Micah, and all those stuff.
and start over.
But baby, like Linval Joseph gonna be on this team again?
No.
Carlos Watkins is gonna be on this team again. You don't have any 3 techs.
Yeah.
This is not a conversation. Like, this is not, I think it's so pointless, and I understand people talking about the money and stuff. Who cares? What you gonna do, start with nothing? What you gonna do, start with nothing? Who gonna go play 3 tech?
I mean, we talk about this.
Said us, right?
Bye.
I ain't going to play outside.
It's not normal
not
to
doing
be
it.
behaving
Girl,
this
I'm
way.
not.
It's not normal.
Girl, if I have to
behavior.
do it, I'm gonna be upset.
I'm sorry to yell, y'all.
It's time to spend the check.
It's time to spend the money.
You're behind because you put yourself in a situation. This is a copycat league. It's time to copycat. You got the people in your division doing it the right way. Just take a couple
Winning
pages.
Super Bowls.
You just
Get
gotta
it to the
figure it. You gotta figure it out money wise. You gotta pay what you know works. Also works for this team and what they have. Micah needs to be next, and that has to be put to bed because I said it before. Having Micah on your team and taken care of and guaranteed for how many ever years to come, that is a bargaining chip when you go get the next guy who wants to win championships. I come from a franchise that didn't win this long drought. And when they finally started winning, when I was talking to players, well, why did you come here? Well, Von Miller's on the team, and I respect Von Miller, and I think he's got some years left. I've seen him just win a championship and do that somewhere else. This is a win-now team, right? That's the purpose. You got Dak in his prime, if you will, still pushing it. You just signed CD. You have Micah Parsons here. Those are bargaining chips for people who want to come and win, but you have to start showing that you're doing something different, and that is spending the check, spending the money.
What message are you sending? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it says a lot about them starting with Osa rather than getting Micah's contract done too.
I was gonna bring that
Agreed.
up. I was gonna bring that up,
just
but
leaving
you,
that right
you don't
there.
you don't want to get me started.
But they're
on that.
like,
That's all I'm saying.
schematically, they're roadies. And that's like you said, Osa makes a Micah better, and Micah makes a Osa better.
I mean, and they're, but here's my thing. I'm talking cap, salary cap. That's all we hear about, right?
Here it's not
And
real.
it's important. And yeah.
Ask
If
the
you
Eagles.
want to have the flexibility to pay these players, such as an Osa, what they want to get paid, guess what you need to do first is pay Micah. And it's like the big contracts that come up every year. We have this same conversation. Last year was if you pay Dak, you can get all these free agents. You can have all this flexibility. You can pay your guys, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to have that conversation again this summer, but I feel like we probably will, just based on history and what history tells us here. So I will be interested to see what price Osa can and will take if Micah's contract is not taken first, because it makes you wonder how much more could have been offered if Osa decides to go elsewhere for more money, if that makes any sense.
I care about the messaging, too.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I mean by that is Osa has done his job. He's earned his next contract. The man has also been very reliable. I think I mentioned last week, only missing one game his whole career thus far. So you're talking about durability. You're talking about now production as he's developing. He's extremely coachable. He doesn't give you any problem outside the locker room. He's a locker room guy. If a guy does all of that, why is it so hard for him to get what he's earned? And I look at a guy like a Marshawn Nealon who's young and coming up. Like, set the example, set the tone. If you, like Bree said, if you want to change how people look at this team, and if you want more players to want to come here, treat your own like you need to. And that is going to spread through your locker room and things like that. Because, again, like, if I'm a young guy like Nealon and I see that Osa, they're different position groups, but I see if Osa done worked his tail off, been consistent, barely missed games, been healthy, been productive, and he has to go through the ringer to get his payday.
Then
So
what's
don't
the
have
point?
him look at them crazy? Yeah.
Nah, it's messaging matters as well, and it sets the tone for your locker room
And a culture.
And it's not changing. The Dak's contract, you knew what the market was. Micah, you know what the market is. You know what you have to pay him. Now, Osa, I'll give a little grace because I think even talking to you guys, okay, like what should you?
It's a little in between.
It's a little bit in between. So that makes a little bit more sense. But Micah, there's no reason why we're still talking about that contract.
All right, we gotta
You know
take our
what it
second
is.
break real fast. We'll be right back with more Girls Talk Boys Talk presented by Invisalign.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence should just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy Calvin. This stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes, and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The first ever Lone Star Smokeout is coming to Arlington. Watch headliners John Party, Cody Jinks, Midland, and more at this 3-day outdoor country music festival. Plus, enjoy barbecue from some of the best pitmasters in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
What's y'all's favorite barbecue out here?
Yum. Hutchins Barbecue.
Oh, it's so good.
So bomb. So bomb.
It's all right. I go to Oak Cliff for my barbecue.
There's also one in Deep Ellum somewhere. I don't know what it's called, but that one's pretty good.
I did go to Hutchins. I've been to Hutchins. I like Hurtado's. That was pretty
I
good.
haven't been there.
I thought that they serve it in the stadium. I think in the baseball stadium. Anyway, that's pretty good. It's like an infusion of Mexican food and barbecue. Bomb. But do yourself a favor, go get you a baked potato from Records in Dallas.
You said infusion?
Oh, here we go.
You got it's coming. What, sister? What?
Quarterback room has it was there. It was there.
Get it? You got
the
it.
infusion is there with like different abilities from each quarterback that they have on the roster right now. Dak Prescott. Cooper
You know what?
Rush,
Heck
Will
yeah.
Greer.
We
Yeah.
got.
I tried. I tried to hype
It's
you
all right.
up.
I
You got
tried.
it. It's okay.
Anyways, the Cowboys say they want to draft a quarterback. That obviously means that Trey Lance will no longer be here in Dallas, which is crazy because they gave up a 4th-round pick for him. But we're not going to talk about that. But I do want to talk about real fast before we do have to go is why do you guys feel like Trey Lance wasn't a good fit? And I'll start with you, Jess.
To be honest, I just feel like the lack of opportunity wasn't there for him to actually grow where it mattered, which was game time reps. And I think this season was potentially his greatest chance at getting those game time reps, especially when Dak went out. Cowboys were out of playoff contention. There was a lot of opportunity there for him. So for me, I'm just going to give it to lack of opportunity. I don't really think it's his lack of effort. I saw effort being put in for him to grow and learn, literally from his first day of being so behind and so confused at how the quarterback drills work to him kind of learning and growing. And I saw that whole progression even at just the small portions we had at practice. But to give up that 4th-round pick, just as tough. Some notable names coming from the 4th round: Jake Ferguson, Tyler Biotish, Tony Pollard, Dorrance Armstrong, Dalton Schultz, Ryan Switzer, Dak Prescott. So
What are they
just
all doing now?
oh, you know,
Only one of them ain't in the league no more.
right.
Okay.
However,
And I think he coaching.
yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
Well, I just want to point out how significant that 4th round was.
No, you're right.
And for what? Because guess who's also back? Will Greer. So it's frustrating. But to wrap it up, I don't think it was on Trey Lance's lack of effort. I really hope whatever happens for him going forward, he gets the opportunity to put more of that effort in wherever he happens to go next.
Yeah, I'm honestly mad at, like, the more that I think about his career as a whole to start, I'm mad at everybody.
Yep.
I'm mad at everybody. I'm mad at them for drafting him that high. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry. Because I feel like from the time he got in the league, the whole thing has been he hasn't played that much. He hasn't played that much. Hey, the NFL is not somewhere that you come to learn how to play quarterback. It is not. No one has time for that in this league. Literally, we hear them talk about with the NFLPA, just a lot, the limitations on practice, the limitations on how much coaches can get their hands on you as a player. He never, to me, was in the position to develop in the way that he needed to be when he got in the league. Like, he wasn't even a Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts went later because he had went to different teams and people weren't too fond of his production, whatever the case may be. He wasn't even there. So for me, it's just like, I think it's a lesson learned for everybody in the league. And that's why we're seeing, even in this draft class, older quarterbacks are starting to have value. People are okay with going with a guy that played college 5 years, 6 years, because they want the experience. So for me, my heart goes out to him. I really feel for him as a person and as a player, because what he was brought into was never, like, it's not going to serve you. No one in the NFL has time to teach you how to be a quarterback. Can they teach you how to be a better quarterback? Yes. But to be one?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So empathize with him. I hope everything works out with him. And that's how I feel. But I'm mad at everybody.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything you just said, because honestly, I'm a Bay Area girl, right? So I'm keeping an eye on the Niners at that time. And I was rooting for him because it was a risk reward. It was a risk reward. 26 games he started, high school and college. If you look at all the quarterbacks that came from that class, the numbers are significant. That was, like you said, we remember the storylines. It didn't work. So why the Cowboys decided to put all that faith and give up a 4th-round pick is beyond me. We know he's athletic, and I used to be like, what if he did something else? Like, not play the quarterback. Like, it's something else offensively, because the boy is talented. But like you said, this is the NFL. We don't got time. Opportunity. McCarthy said that all the time. He needs more opportunity. This is not the place where you get opportunity. So I almost feel bad for him, because you saw the effort. I remember him going in and they had packages and he had -3 yards and came out for one play. What am I doing? Like, how do I get better as a player if that's what we're losing 4 games in a row and I get a shot one play and I come out because I make a mistake? Like, I can't grow that way. So I think he does make he's young. Like I said, he's athletic. He might make his way to another roster, but it's not going to be here, especially for a quarterback who is injury prone. Dak Prescott has 2 season-ending injuries. We don't know what he's going to come back as. You need somebody who you could throw in there and can keep the Band-Aid and keep it afloat. And it's not Trey Lance for this team.
We're going to dive into that quarterback position next week, but we have got to go. So on that note, this has been a great show, ladies.
Oh, fussing.
It's time to wake up and go home. All right. For Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, Brianna Aldridge, I'm Nicole Hutchison. We'll be back here next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!